Carol, it looks so good up there. Thank you so much. Now, listen, I'm sure you'll tell me off for remembering this. I thought you were going to have 4 hats.
I was, but we decided just to stick with 3. Less is more. But can I show you the back of this one?
I always think the back of your head looks much better.
It's... I know, I thought I'd do that for you as well. Just get rid of my face.
Carol, I love you. I'm scared when I see you next. Okay, so it is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. See you, Carol.
There's an audible ouch.
Do you know what?
An audible ouch, wasn't
there? As soon as I said that, our guests, Sara Dallin and Keren Woodward, Bananarama fame, of course, just went...
Oh.
Brutal.
You only say that sort of thing to your best friend, though.
Exactly. Good point. Very diplomatic of you. Where are you on hat etiquette? Last time you wore a fancy hat?
Probably in the Do Not Disturb. Oh, gosh. Coming up in the new video. I just saw it.
We are wearing hats.
Are we?
No, again,
I'm
not sure they suit me.
See, I don't mind a floppy straw hat, but there are many hat mistakes I've made throughout our
Well, the nation
career.
is just about to come up with a verdict on whether the hats work or not, because we can see it now. This is the new single. This is the video for the new single.
Yes,
Can you see it? Is
okay.
it Masquerade? Yes.
Yes,
Let's have a look.
Is.
Wrap yourself around you like a spider's web when you're least expecting.
Everybody was wearing hats.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody was wearing hats.
I've given
You
that
forgot
one to my
that.
mum now. She's wearing it.
Oh.
I think you suit a hat.
Thank you.
Yes. I think those hats were quite suitable.
Yeah.
In fact, looking at, of course, we've got a picture. There's loads of hats here. You're actually all about hats.
We were actually back in the day, but I don't think they suit me now. My eyes are too close together.
You do know that everyone
Has that
who watches
changed?
you now is just, I'm literally will be doing this.
Should never point your
care.
faults out on live TV. You can't take it back.
How's it going anyway?
It's going
Good.
fantastically.
Start of promo, but we're really proud of the album and love the single that was out yesterday. So yeah.
Someone described it as with a Pet Shop Boys vibe to it.
Keren
How do you
calls
feel
it-
about that?
Karen calls it gothic pop.
Gothic
which
disco.
A gothic disco, yeah.
It is odd. I think the very beginning bit it comes in, it's quite dramatic and could be a bit petsy. We love the Pets anyway, so there's nothing wrong with sounding a bit like that.
No, not at all.
No.
Was it deliberate?
No.
No, we
Nothing's
just love
deliberate.
that electro pop sound, and that's kind of the sound of the album.
How did it come about, the album? Tell me about the creative process when you decided that it was time for a new one.
Well, we were in lockdown, so I think we were going to do an EP, just a few songs, and then suddenly lockdown became longer and longer, so we started writing more and more songs and ended up as the album, so yeah.
How does it work with your writing things? So do you do a bit and then send stuff to each other?
The first bit we were in proper lockdown and we were sending each other ideas and it didn't really work very well, that process for us. So Sarah wrote some with her daughter instead and shunted me out the way.
Were they better?
Songwriter. Yeah, miles better.
Yeah, so much better.
No, but that was really enjoyable to actually work with someone else, but then Karen and I did some as well.
And we recorded 2 of Sarah's daughter's own songs that she's recorded. Sarah's daughter has had a career for quite a while, which she's done on her own, and we've always loved her music and we're desperate. I was desperate to do a song called Favourite, which Sarah's daughter wrote and performed years ago. So
yeah, usually makes Karen cry.
Now I'm
it
curious,
always makes me cry.
So do you mind me asking how old your daughter is?
29.
29. Did you go through phases with your daughter or either of you, the children, about being proud, embarrassed, proud about Bananarama and the mum's involvement?
I don't think she was ever embarrassed.
Good.
I do remember when she was very small, she loved the Spice Girls, and she would say to me, "But you were never really as famous as them, Mummy." I was like, "Fuck, what?"
Did you list your sales, your single sales success to her? Reel off
She was only 3.
Still, she needs to be corrected on the statistics
yes.
sometimes, even at the age of 3.
Does she now get how big you were?
Yes, yeah.
And how you know, for a female band, then how rare it was. I mean, when you think about Live Aid, for example, you were the only female band on
Yeah.
that stage, you know, or
It
female
was
group, I should
shocking,
say. You
really.
know.
There weren't that many girls around.
There weren't like
No.
counterparts in the sense, like we talk about the Spice Girls, who are absolutely fantastic, of course. But then there was All Saints. There were lots of other female bands and had been before, and you kind of started that.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, we're still kind of outnumbered, even in the live sets. You know, it's always 90% male bands on there. So slowly, hopefully, you know, there's going to be more and more females. But yeah, it was difficult. I think we didn't really make it obvious or complain about it. But when you look back, you think, yeah, there were some situations where, you know, it wasn't really getting the dues that you deserved, I think.
Do you think you had the respect of the male artists around you in the way that male artists probably now do have for female artists, counterparts?
I think you'd like to think you did, but possibly not. I mean, it's very hard to gauge. When we wrote a book in, you know, around about the first lockdown, and when you start really thinking back and analysing it, I think that was the point where, well, several things came to light. One, I was incredibly proud of what we'd done, which I'd never really thought of before. And the other thing was how we just seemed to have to put in so much more work to get to a point where a male band was. And we got a sort of abuse for being difficult or being surly or being this. And it's just having an opinion and wanting it to be...
Or being professional.
Yes, being professional and thinking, no, we want it to be like this, and then you're termed as awkward.
And also even having children, it's almost like, well, you've got a shelf life, you've started a family now, so not really relevant, not the right demographic. There were all those kind of accusations.
Which male bands just wouldn't have had.
It's interesting, you used that word that you said, people said you're being awkward, when all you were doing was just trying to be who you were.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, we were strong as a group, I think. Excuse me. I think that would have been much more difficult as a solo artist, but we very much did it under our own steam, and we were who we were, and we still are. The beauty of now is, of course, we can put out our own music and control completely everything. So it's taken 40 years to get in control.
It's just the best feeling, yeah.
Do you ever think, watching through some of the old material here, do you ever think sort of whimsically that life was a bit simpler then? Bands were called things like Bananarama, and it was all a bit...
We didn't think that would last, did we?
Why was it? Why? I mean, I know this is probably out there and everybody who knows trivia will know it. Why was it Bananarama?
Our first single, I always say it like a robot, our first single was sung in Swahili, so we thought bananas sounded like a tropical fruit. And then we liked Roxy Music's song Pyjamarama, and so put the two together.
And there you have.
We were teenagers.
40 years.
Yeah, yes.
It worked though, didn't it? It just worked.
Yes,
It did, and
yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not like anyone else's name, so yeah, it
Did
absolutely
you know
worked.
that? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. I love learning things like that. I love the fact that you're still kind of developing and changing the music and still putting it out, and I love the fact you've got control.
Yeah, I think you do, you know, celebrating 40 years with a new album as opposed to a sort of retrospective at this point is something that we didn't really think about, but I'm thrilled that we've done it. So, and we've got loads of shows coming up where, of course, you do the hits,
Of course.
throw in a couple of new ones. And
Can
they
you
all
imagine
sing
doing a show and not doing Robert De Niro's waiting?
No,
It's very,
No,
very popular.
It would not go down well.
No, it would
not
not.
go down well.
The hats, the official verdict is they worked, so
Yeah.
Thank
it's all
you.
good.
All very, very cool. Keren, Sarah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Bananarama's new album is called Masquerade.
You're watching BBC Breakfast. Time now is 8:59.